Hi, I'm Phil, and today I'm going to look at one of the communications projects using the Xiao ESP32S3 Sense. So let's go and have a look at the project directly. So before we do that, we might actually look at what the Xiao ESP32 Sense looks like. So it's on a Xiao format, and I've got a soldered version here, and right on top of the Xiao ESP32, there's the camera. So you can see the camera there, and this is what it looks like faced on. So I want that to look at objects, people, and classify them and send that data to an MQTT broker. So let's have a look at the project. It's this one. And what I'll do is I'll just increase that so you can see that a little bit more clearly. So my desktop arrangement is shown here. I've got a Windows PC, and that's going to probe into the MQTT. So it's going to do it on both. On the Windows PC, it's currently using a program called MQTT Explorer. And on the left, we have Node-RED. Okay, and I'm using a Raspberry Pi to host both MQTT and Node-RED. So there's my device ready to explore and discover people. And we might have a look at the objective. The idea is to get MQTT working from Senscraft. And what I want to do is send the AI responses to an MQTT broker and get a MQTT client. And there are two of them. We might actually change that. So there are two clients. One is the MQTT Explorer, and the other one is Node-RED. And hardware from Seed Studio, I've got the Xiao ESP32 S3. That should be S3. But we'll correct that as we go along. And we've got a Windows PC that has the clients, and we're using a Raspberry Pi for our broker. That is both the Node-RED and also the MQTT. So that's the hardware. And software-wise, I'm using Sensecraft, and the model that I'm using is Person Detect, which is based on the Swift YOLO. And there's only one class, and that's person. It's going to use a task of detection. It's a light model. We don't have a lot of memory. And the configuration-wise, well, I can also go to the web page and identify my device and configure it. I'm configuring it for my web server or for the Wi-Fi, and I'm looking at configuring the client ID, and my Raspberry Pi is my MQTT. Okay, so what we might do here, that's the MQTT configuration. And the output, you also get a window there that allows you to subscribe, query the device, and send the information. So this is what you would do to subscribe, and the topic is this one. And what I want to do is get any data coming into my Windows PC. Now, it actually shows up when it first initializes. It gives me the message under the topic, SSCMA. But there's no other information. It doesn't come up unless I provoke it. And one way to provoke it or invoke it is to use this node red. And in particular, if I send the payload, which is on the left, and send it over MQTT, and there's the topic, it will also show up on MQTT Explorer. But there's nothing else. Let's have a look at Raspberry Pi. We've got our client there, and that starts on boot. And it starts on boot also for Node Red. So our results, well, we're getting the results only on the boot up procedure. And my aim is to find out what's going on. Why can't I get the data from identification sent over to the MQTT broker? And that's all for me for the time being. I've got a desktop demo that follows. So here we have the page from Senscraft for the device and for the model. So I've got the person detection, the Swift YOLO model, and you can see it's detecting me on the bottom. So let's have a look at the configuration. The idea is that I want to send detections to my MQTT server. And here is the setup for that. So it seems to be configured. And the other place you can explore is the output for MQTT. And the only other information we've got is the host name. Now, that looks a bit confusing because it doesn't select for the host. It has a web socket rather than a MQTT protocol. So that's a little bit confusing. We can press these buttons of press topic and send, and that should send the data to the MQTT Explorer, and that's on the other page. But also we have a node red, and I've set up that web socket over here, and it's connected to a Raspberry Pi, which has MQTT broker. And if I press this button, it should send it across. And if I get anything received on this topic, you can have a look at it. There's the topic, and the payload is over here. So it will receive that and show me on the debug window. Let's go across now and have a look at the MQTT Explorer on the other window and query the device. So it will actually send that across, and I can send the other command, the AT invoke command, and it will also come up. So that's the data that I get on the MQTT Explorer for the Xiao ESP32S3 Sense. This is the Seed Studio Xiao ESP32S3 Sense, and the camera is on top, and there's an extended antenna, Wi-Fi antenna onto the right. It's also on a carrier, and it has a heatsink. And what we want to do is use the camera to detect the person, and that'll be me, and send the information to a Raspberry Pi MQTT broker, which is on this device over here. Both are on the same network. So we might go across and actually have a look at what that looks like on the web server for Sensecraft. So here's a web server, and I'll get the camera and just point to it, and it should be pointing to me now. So you can see it's detecting me as a person, and it's putting a box in when it can find me. And I'm also getting debug information, but I'm not getting any information on MQTT Explorer. So it's not sending, while it's configuring, it doesn't send the data to over MQTT.